Okay, let's be honest. We're all drowning in data, but we're starving for actual insights, right? The real problem isn't the numbers themselves, it's how we show them. So today, we're going to dive into how to take that jumbled mess of data and turn it into a clear, powerful story that people actually get, like instantly.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're in a meeting, someone puts up a slide, and you're just staring at this chart, squinting, and you're thinking, what in the world am I even looking at? I mean, it's wild. The truth is, most charts completely fail at their one and only job, which is to make things clear. Instead of helping, they just add to the confusion.
I want you to just picture this in your mind for a second. That shiny, tilted 3D pie chart, right? It's got like 10 different slices, all in basically the same shade of blue, and of course, 0 labels. So, what does it mean? Exactly, you have no idea. It's just visual clutter that tells you absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what we're going to fix.
All right, section 1. Why do visuals even matter? Look, let's get one thing straight. The whole point of a chart isn't just to make your slide look pretty or to, fill up some empty space. The real goal is understanding. It's all about tapping into how our brains are built to see things and get the point in a flash.
So, data visualization. It sounds fancy, but look at the key words here. Understand, easily, and effectively. That's the magic formula. Think about it. If your audience has to struggle to figure out your chart, it's not easy. If they get the wrong idea from it, it's not effective. And if they miss the main point entirely, well, they just didn't understand. This isn't about decoration, it's about communication that actually works. Okay, section 2. Start with the question. So where do we actually start? Hint, it's not by opening up Excel or picking a chart that you think looks cool. Nope. The most important step, the absolute first thing you have to do, happens way before you even think about making a graph.
And here it is. This is the golden rule. Before you do anything else, you have to ask yourself, what is the one single thing I want my audience to walk away knowing? You've got to be able to say it in one simple sentence. Maybe it's Region A crushed all the other regions in sales. Or maybe it's this one product accounts for almost all our revenue. Figure out that one thing first, because literally everything else you do will build on top of it.
Moving on to section 3, choosing the right tool. See, once you know what you want to say, then you can pick your tool. Just think of charts as tools in a toolbox. I mean, you wouldn't use a saw to hammer in a nail, right? It's the exact same idea here. Pick the right chart, and your message becomes impossible to miss.
So, let's take a super common scenario. Let's say you're trying to compare values between a few different groups. Maybe it's sales figures for different products, or maybe website traffic from different countries. You just want to see how they stack up. What's the best tool for that?
Well, for this job, your best friend is the good old bar chart. Seriously, there's a reason it's so popular. Our brains are just amazing at comparing the lengths of bars. It's super fast, super easy. Now, quick pro tip, if the exact numbers are what's really important, like down to the dollar, don't be afraid to just use a clean, simple table. Sometimes the clearest tool is also the simplest.
All right, let's try another one. What if your goal is to show the parts of a whole? You want to show how your total budget is sliced up, or what percentage of the market each of your competitors has. How do you show that kind of breakdown?
This is the perfect job for a pie chart or a donut chart, like this one right here. The circle shape is like a universal signal to our brain that says, hey, all these little pieces add up to 100%. But here's the key, keep it simple. If you have more than, say, 5 or 6 slices, just don't. It gets way too confusing and you're right back where you started.
All right, section 4, best practices for clarity. So, you've picked your message, you've chosen the right chart, you're almost there. But now we get to the really important part, the execution. This is what separates an okay chart from a truly great one. And it all comes down to 3 super simple rules. Okay, these 3 rules, they will totally change your chart game. First, remove clutter. Be a minimalist. If something isn't adding valuable information, like heavy grid lines or weird 3D effects, just get rid of it. Second, label directly. Don't make people look back and forth between a legend and the chart. Just put the label right next to the thing it's describing. And third, use color with purpose. Color isn't for decoration, it's for highlighting the most important piece of your story.
So, let's actually put this into practice. Here we have some basic sales data for 3 products, Widget A, Gadget B, and Gizmo C. Our goal is simple, compare how they performed. The question is, what's the best way to show this?
Okay, check this out. On the left is the before. It's a lot, right? The 3D effect is actually misleading. It makes the bars harder to compare. The background is dark, The grid lines are distracting, and you have to do this little scavenger hunt to match the colors in the legend to the bars. Now look at the after. So much better. What did we do? We followed our rules. We decluttered it, we put the numbers right on the bars, and we used the clean color to tell the story. It's simple, it's clean, and you get it in a second.
And here's that beautiful final chart. The title tells you exactly what you're looking at. The bars are incredibly easy to compare. There's zero guesswork, it's just clear. You know instantly that Gadget B is the big winner. And it probably took you, what, half a second to know that? That is the power we're talking about.
Which brings us to our final section, number 5. Tell your data's story. Because really, at the end of the day, that's the whole point. We're not just making graphs for the sake of making graphs. We are storytellers, and the data is our material. Our job is to find the story in the numbers and tell it clearly.
So let's recap the key takeaways. First, always know your core message before you start. What is the one thing you want to say? Second, choose the right visual tool for that specific job. And third, focus on clarity, not on making things look fancy. Remember, if something isn't helping people understand, it's just getting in the way.
And I want to leave you with this quote from John Tukey, a real pioneer in this field. He said, "The greatest value of a picture is when it forces us to notice what we never expected to see." And that's so true. When you do this right, it stops being just about presenting what you already know. It becomes a tool for discovery, for finding surprises in your own data. So the real question is, what unexpected story is waiting to be discovered in your next chart?